Item
SCP-117.
Object Class
Safe.
Special Containment Procedures.
SCP-117 is to be kept in the small leather pouch it was found in, unless in use or in current study. Any personnel deemed mentally fit may enter the containment cell of the SCP, though if they are suspected to be trying to remove the SCP without permission, they are to be searched, and if that is the case, they are to be reprimanded. The door to the containment cell should remain locked and a guard posted only when the object is in use.
Description:
The item appears to be a regular multi-tool of unknown make and brand, found in Florida. At first glance, only the normal tools are found: screwdriver, knife, can opener, etc. But if the user is faced with a task, regardless of what tool the subject intends to pull out and use, a tool perfectly fitted for the job will take its place, regardless of spatial quantities that are being broken by the tool. All other tools always seem to be present, though after the task is completed and the tool closed, unless faced with a task requiring that tool again, the tool cannot be found on the tool again.
Addendum.
Those with Level 2 clearance should see Document 117-B.
Document 117B.
Effects of usage. After countless uses and testing with the SCP, it has been discovered to cause harm and possibly death to the user by means of absorbing iron, copper, calcium and zinc from the user's body as long as the user is touching the device. Gloves seem to have no curbing effect on this, and the rate of absorption seems to depend on the tools being used or created by SCP-117. It is advised that only Class D personnel are used in conjunction with this SCP to prevent death or injury of researchers. Usage log of SCP-117. Redundant entries not entered unless they exhibit different results. Situation: tool produced by SCP. A loose screw on a metal plate. Screwdriver, though not the standard screwdriver. A nail barely in piece of timber. Standard hammer. A piece of timber with proposed cut lines drawn. An electric saw which needed no outside power source. A piece of bulletproof glass, an unknown laser cutting tool which needed no outside power source, SCP, a bloodied combat knife, an agent with a broken bone, a small item with a trigger which when pulled emitted an odd radiation instantly healing the injury, Class D personnel fit for execution,
Data expunged.
Communication needed with SCP-363,
Data expunged.
See Incident Report 117-3F, 05-X clearance required. A non-shuffled deck of playing cards. A mid-size mechanical shuffler. Class D personnel with terminal cancer. Items similar to 6th test. A perfectly healthy Caucasian human male with no criminal record.
Data expunged.
A perfectly healthy Hispanic human male with no criminal record.
Data expunged.
A silver dinner fork in perfect condition. No tools could be found on the SCP.
Data expunged.
A screwdriver. A dirty window. A nozzle that sprayed a mixture of soap and water that completely cleaned the window. An uncharged iPod. The iPod end of the charging cord which needed no outside power source. A blank sheet of standard computer paper. A pen filled with a seemingly infinite supply of black ink. A Samsung cellular phone. A small device that, when attached to the phone, increased signal strength by approximately 250%.
Document 117G.
Developments concerning SCP-117. After exposing the SCP to an array of different items and people, it appears that the object may very well be sentient to some degree. Because of this, we must consider the fact that the SCP is susceptible to telepathy and must not come into contact with any SCPs with known telepathic powers. The above was a transcript of the personal notes of Dr. Kleeman, who seems to have taken a harmless interest in the object. Testing with other SCPs is suspended as of 9th-16-
Note 11715-4-
5-4- Testing is suggested for SCP-882 and is under consideration by Dr. Kleeman.
Note 117-2
6-19-2000 Further biological testing is halted by Dr. Kleeman after Incident 117-4A. The SCP is still fit to be used for any repairs around the facilities, as long as the SCP is followed by one or more armed guards briefed on proper use of the SCP.
Note 117-4
6-21-2000. After much consideration, I must deny testing of SCP-117 with SCP-882. The risk of damaging SCP-882 is simply too great to overlook. Dr. Kleeman.
Note 117-26
9-16- After the Incident 117-3F, I'm forced to put a stop to all testing of SCP-117 in conjunction with other SCPs. The risk of a total loss of containment is far too great. All biological testing is to be halted until a later date, as the results so far have proved varying, and there is a limit of Class D staff available for my research. Dr. Kleeman.
Note 117-27
7-20- Biological testing resumed by Dr. Kleeman with mixed results. Testing of SCP-117 with other SCPs under reconsideration by 05- though it seems unlikely further tests will occur.
Note 11728
3-20- Testing is suggested for SCP-682.